P. Diddy T-Tube asks, why do fish swim in water, not jello? Probably because the ocean and the rivers and the lakes and the deltas and the tributaries and the rain and the clouds and basically all the liquid on Earth is water, not jello. Hey there guys, Portalmaster 9351 here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Ask Portalmaster, the series where I answer your questions and give some channel updates. So, enough with the introductions, let's get started answering your questions. Now our first question today comes from DarkBones001, and his question is, now that you have all of them, who is your favorite villain sensei from Imaginators and why? Personally, my favorite villain sensei is Blastertron. I love the way they redid him, completely and totally redid him, and I absolutely love that. He just looks amazing, plays amazing. Although I haven't really played a ton of him, I have been relatively impressed by what I've seen. I know some people don't like him, but personally I have really actually been enjoying Blastertron. Our next question today comes from Elbow, and his question is, what is your Minecraft username? My Minecraft username is Ninja9351. Pretty much in most places, my username is Ninja9351. And actually, when I was first creating this channel, I really did consider calling it Ninja9351, but I decided to go with Portalmaster9351, so it was more obvious what I was actually a channel on. Our next question comes from Skyfan91. He says, what was your favorite video of speculation of Skylanders 6 before Imaginators was revealed? One of my personal favorite videos of speculation, I'm actually going to combine two here, was the video about villains and the video about reposes. So, you know, of course we didn't get any reposes in Imaginators, but we did get villains. We did get remastered villains. So I had made a couple videos about how reposes would work in Skylanders 6 and how villains would work in Skylanders 6. Of course, around this time, there were rumors that Golden Queen would be receiving a new villain figure, but we weren't 100% sure. So it was really interesting when we actually did find out that there would be reposes in the form of villains. Now, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of information about what I had speculated, I had basically said that reposes would be really interesting, and that basically if there were reposes, there wouldn't be a such thing as a Series 6, a Series 5 anymore. It would all just be gimmicks. And as you can see, that is pretty much what happened. The villains are senseis in their own right. The only thing they don't have is a sensei belt. They're senseis all the same. And the reason that I had speculated that was largely because of what happened in Superchargers with reposes that were completely different and were actually the real Supercharger gimmick characters. So it kind of turns out that I was kind of right in how senseis would be working. And of course that I had kind of said villains, it would make a lot of sense for villains to come back, so there's that. The next question comes from Superstars, and he asks, do you watch Ninja Warrior? I do enjoy American Ninja Warrior, it's a pretty cool show, but I personally prefer Wipeout because people fall, and it's not like sad, it's like you can laugh at the people falling. Like in Ninja Warrior, it's like they trained their whole life to go on that show, and then they fall, and it's like you feel so bad for them. Whereas Wipeout, it's like some 400-pound guy, you know, jumping across like bouncing things and like falling into a puddle of mud. Like, that's funny. But Ninja Warrior, I don't know. A Ninja Warrior is completely different, but I personally prefer Wipeout, personally. Wheelchair Guy Gaming TV asks, any predictions on what the two Mystery Lightseekers characters will be? Really like this question, especially since it's not a Skylanders question. So personally, I think that at least one of the Lightseekers characters will be a Chimchu, as those are the owl-like bird creatures that are very, very present. They're pretty much all over the game, but yet we there's no playable character. The other one is probably going to be a Creeble, preferably colorless. In the card game, all of the colorless cards relate to Creeble, and a few of them are Chimchu, but like mostly they're Creeble. So I would really like a colorless Creeble, like an unaffiliated Creeble character, and some sort of Chimchu that goes with like an existing order alignment. Scott Harper asks, a YouTube friend of mine, Caden Yerk, made a petition over 1.5 years ago saying that Activision should bring back PvP battle mode. I think it has surpassed 1,000 signatures. With this much time passed by, what are your thoughts about the fact that we still don't have PvP as we did in the first 3 games? You know, a while back I actually did a rant video on this, a triple rant, one of my most heavily viewed videos of all time. It was basically a 3-sided rant about non-resettable creation crystals, the fact that there's no battle mode or time challenge or anything of that sort, and the fact that there's no PvP. That position still stands, and my friend, Yourself Productions, actually made a wonderful parody of that video that you should go check out, which pretty much outlines how I feel about the fact that there's no PvP or anything in the game. So I'll leave a link to that down below. Our next question comes from Shaky, and he asks, should the next console game for Skylanders have a different main villain besides Chaos, and why? I like Chaos. I really do like Chaos. The voice actor is hilarious, and, you know, Chaos is a fun character. But quite honestly, he needs to go. He needs to either take a backseat or something like that. I mean, honestly, I just can't stand the fact that we're 6 games in, and the closest to an alternate villain we've had was the Darkness. I mean, the first game, we fought Chaos's Hydra. The second game, we fought Chaos. The third game, we fought Chaos. The fourth game, we fought Chaos. The fifth game, we fought Chaos. The sixth game, we fought Chaos. Like, again and again and again. The final battle is always against Chaos. And honestly, it's just overdone. Pokemon would be so boring if every time there was a villain, it was Team Rocket. You know, Team Rocket is always there. Sometimes they're the main villain, sometimes they're not the main villain. And honestly, that's what needs to happen with Chaos. He does not always need to be the main villain. He does not always have to be the final boss. The final boss should sometimes be characters like Malefor or the Darkness. And I know that the Darkness was kind of the final boss of Superchargers, but really Chaos was the final boss of Superchargers. And to me, he needs to take a backseat role. We need Malefor. We need someone like that as a villain. Okay guys, now I'm actually going to give a short little channel update about what my plans are for this August. Again, had kind of a hectic month. This last month, I planned a lot of stuff that didn't end up happening because I did not think that I was going to. I had totally forgotten about this like 4-day mini vacation I was going on with like my church group, so that kind of threw off my schedule towards the end of the month, and July was kind of an interesting month. So we didn't hit a lot of our goals, but in August, I'm planning on ramping things back up. An important thing to note is that school does start back for me very soon. It starts back for me on the 10th. So we are not far away from school starting back for me at all. We're actually at the less than 2-week mark for me, which is really sad. Nevertheless, I do still have a lot of things planned. This month, I am definitely getting Lost Imaginite Mines. I mean, honestly, I have to import it. Because if we get to Gamescom and there is nothing on Lost Imaginite Mines, I will import it, regardless of how long it's going to take me to get the Lost Imaginite Mines. I cannot afford to not get it. So definitely getting Lost Imaginite Mines this month, unless they make an announcement at Gamescom that says, we will be releasing Lost Imaginite Mines in the States in like 2 weeks or something like that. If they make an announcement like that and say, yes, the Lost Imaginite Mines was the Q4 Adventure Pack, then yeah, I'll wait. But like, honestly, if there's nothing at Gamescom, I have to import it. So I'm also going to be doing a lot of Gamescom hype and speculation videos. There's, you know, Gamescom is of course coming up on the 22nd/23rd. I think there's like pre-show stuff on the 22nd. The actual conference starts on the 23rd. Chaos was seen in a trailer for Gamescom. I'll leave a couple links down in the, or I'll leave a couple end cards in case you want a little bit more information on that. But basically, we have a lot of indication that Skylanders is going to be at Gamescom, and I definitely want to talk about that. I am going to be continuing Skylanders Showdown. Of course, I really enjoy those, and I want to get more of those out. I want to do a few more episodes of Light Seekers. The last episode didn't get a ton of views, but I am hoping that I can still release a few of them just per month, just to make sure that there is still content coming out. I still have a lot of faith in Light Seekers, and I think that it's going to do really good this holiday season, so I want to have a lot of Light Seekers content for when that holiday interest rush comes, so that people see me as a good Light Seekers channel. I know that might seem kind of weird to you that I would actually like openly say that, but honestly, this is for my more dedicated fans that I kind of feel a little bit more connected to, so I definitely did want to let you guys know why I am so committed to Light Seekers right now, and it's because I still have a ton of faith in that game that this Christmas is going to do really well. I've been reading things coming out from Tomy, the manufacturer, that is saying they are very, very confident that it's going to blow up this holiday season, so we'll have to see, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed. Mario and Rabbids is of course coming out later this month, and I know I haven't really been doing a lot of Nintendo Switch gameplay like I'd originally hoped for, but see, when I got ARMS, it kind of already had lost its relevancy, and I wasn't really good enough at Splatoon compared to others to feel like I could really do gameplay of it. And that's the same thing with Overwatch right now. I feel like I can't do gameplay because I'm really still not that good. I'm still learning Splatoon. But Mario and Rabbids, with it being a whole new game, is something I'm definitely interested in actually starting a Let's Play for. So I'm really considering doing a Mario and Rabbids Let's Play. Not a ton of content, but maybe like just a couple of episodes to start off with and kind of gauge interest, and if people are liking it, keep doing it. And so that is something that is on the horizon. I'm also going to be doing a live stream sometime this month. I know originally it was supposed to be last month. It was going to be like late last month, but I've decided that instead I'm going to be doing it early this month, in the first half of this month, so keep your eyes out for that. I should have more details coming really soon about that. I'm also planning on redoing my room a little bit more. I've done a few things and planning on kind of moving some stuff around. We're kind of doing a few things to our house right now, so going to be kind of working on my room, and of course I'll do a tour, and of course I do want to for sure keep growing my subscribers and my views, just because it's really good for a healthy channel to continue doing that. So that's pretty much it for the channel update, so without further ado, let's get back to answering your questions. Our next question comes from Techno Panda Girl, and she asks, what are your thoughts about Imaginators being so overpowered? Well, I kind of understand why they are. They want people to buy the new Imaginators, and I kind of understand why they want people to get these creation crystals and let them be leveled up so much. I really do understand why they're letting them be so overpowered. Now, I think the big problem is that the old characters are underpowered. Not that the new characters are overpowered, but that the old ones are underpowered. That's my problem, because it really eliminates the point of playing with the old characters. But again, I really do understand why the Imaginators are more powerful, and they are really nice for being able to clear up the long boss fights, which are all through this game, and I have a pretty big problem with, so I kind of understand why Imaginators are so overpowered. Silver Dragon 16 asks, other than Skylanders, what is your favorite video game? See, honestly, I don't know. I really like a lot of video games, and honestly, it kind of changes around. So I really don't know that I can say I have a favorite video game constantly, because it really does change. I mean, the game I've played the most other than Skylanders is definitely Minecraft, but I can't really say it's my favorite game right now. It was maybe back in 2013, 2014 when I played it a ton, but honest to goodness, I really don't think I really can say I have a favorite right now, because there's not one that I play way more of than others. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I like with the Switch right now. Upgame PopFizz45 asks, do you think Chaos is ever gonna be a good guy, and who do you think Chaos's dad is? Both of those are great questions. Chaos being a good guy, I could kind of see it maybe at some point, but honestly, the fact that they like to use him as a villain all the time, I don't think he would ever stay that. Like, he might pretend to be a good guy, or team up with the Skylanders to, like, beat off a mutual threat or something like that, which has happened in the past, but honestly, I really don't ever see him being a good guy. As for who his dad is, that's a great question, and I'm really hoping we're going to find a little bit more about that in Academy Seasons 2 and 3. Ignite Ignite the Fire asks, Portalmaster, if you could change one of the bad decisions made for the Skylanders franchise, which one would you change and why? Wow, okay, that is, oh man, lots and lots of errors have been made, of course, through the Skylanders period, but the biggest one I would say is the whole marketing and release thing. And the reason I'm combining marketing and releases together is because of this. During Giants, there were a lot of characters like Thumpback and Hothead, or whoever came out with Thumpback. It might have been Eyebrow that came out with Thumpback. I don't really know. But they marketed the characters in advertisements like they were out then, but then they weren't actually out. And so the two biggest errors for me with Skylanders has always been the releases and the advertising. The advertising is so screwed up. Like, you put ads out at the very launch of the game, but then no one ever reinforces those ads like, go and get the new characters out now. Like, I've never understood the whole marketing thing. So that, and the figure releases, of course, are another terrible thing that have always bothered me and kind of go hand in hand with marketing, like saying new characters available on this day. And so those are the two errors that are sort of one error that I would change if I could, change the past. Our next question comes from ThunderDragon17, who says, who are your favorite Skylanders by element? I've actually answered this question in the past, so I would say go look at my old videos, but as compensation for not answering your question, ThunderDragon, I will go ahead and give you a shout out that your birthday is on the 4th, so happy birthday, ThunderDragon17. Paul P says, did Superchargers ruin the franchise, and should Skylanders release a game related to Spyro and the other original dragons? Okay, we've got two questions here. I'm going to go ahead and answer the second one first because it's easier to answer. There should not be a Skylanders game like the original Spyro games. I'm all for Spyro remakes. I'm all for standalone Spyro games, but there does not need to be a Spyro-like Skylanders game. And honestly, at this point, I would be fine if they broke off into two completely different franchises. Now, here's the thing, though. Superchargers didn't ruin the franchise. That was Trap Team. And I keep alluding to this video, and it's a video that's coming up at some point about why Trap Team is actually what ruined the franchise. I've got a big video planned for that should be dropping sometime this month. And it's a video I've been looking forward to showing off for a long, long time now because I keep alluding to it as how Trap Team is the downfall of the franchise, and I'll explain it at some point. But really it is, and I really do want to explain that to you guys. Night Vision Wolf asks, are you related to Jap28? No. Skyren asks, should I like this video? Yes. Emperor Chain Reaction asks, why haven't you given me a shout out? I don't know. Eyebrow27 asks, what are your thoughts on the whole cancellation of Heartbreaker Buckshot? I wasn't really planning on purchasing it, but it just perplexed me that they revealed it, but just never released it to us. Obviously, there's still a lot of mystery surrounding Heartbreaker Buckshot, and it's weird that it was never addressed, in my opinion. I would really be interested in someone calling customer service and trying to figure out if anyone can find out why it was actually canceled, and if it was actually officially canceled, or what exactly happened with it. Now, if I'm recalling correctly, it was never actually officially revealed. It was data mined from the Skylanders website. And so what I think happened was, it was supposed to be a variant all along, but basically it just never turned very well into a toy. And so they said, okay, we'll figure out the toy later, but let's go ahead and put him in the game and stuff like that. And it just sort of didn't transition over to the toy very well, and they just said, okay, you know what, just pull him from there. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why they don't advertise a lot of their variants to begin with. They don't ever come out with a formal announcement of all of their variants. The only variants that they ever formally announce are the legendaries and the darks. There's no real formal announcement of any of the others. So I kind of think that's why they do that for situations like Heartbreaker Buckshot. Our final question today comes from Davis Harper, and he asks, Portalmaster, do you think the Trap Masters from Trap Team should have been light core? Definitely, 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 definitely. I think they originally were going to be light core. Either that or they were going to have interchangeable weapons. And again, I'll explain more about this in a later video. I know I keep alluding to this, but that is actually part of the whole thing about how Trap Team is what actually ruined the franchise, in my opinion. So, yes, they should have been light core. I mean, honestly though, like, they all have crystal weapons. It would have only made sense for them to be light core. It was dumb that they weren't. Should have been like the light seekers that all have like light up weapons. It should have been like that. The trap masters should have all had light up weapons. And so that is a pretty stupid decision. Plus they cost $15 and all they were was bigger. I mean, honestly, it's the same thing with the senseis though. They're just bigger and they don't do anything special. And that has always bothered me, that they're just like, they're bigger, but they don't do anything more than being bigger. So that's always been a problem for me. And yes, they most definitely should have been light core, but what I'm thinking had happened was they just realized that for some characters it would have been way too hard to have pulled off a really good light core. Like for instance, Shortcut would have been kind of difficult. And I think that for some of them it would have been easier, like Lobstar or Wallop, but then I think there were others, like I said, like Shortcut or maybe Tough Luck, that it would have been a lot harder to pull off light core with, and it would have been weird to have some light core trap masters but not others. So yes, they should have been light core. I kind of understand why they weren't, but they should not have been priced at $15. Well, anyways, that's all the questions you guys asked me last episode. That was a lot of questions, and of course I had a lot to talk about in my channel update, so this has of course been a little bit of a longer video. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Portalmaster 9351. I may or may not be back with the video tomorrow, but I definitely will be back with the video on the 3rd, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, as I said, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.